Welcome back to the channel. Whether you're a passionate collector, a numismatist, or simply someone who loves uncovering the history behind coins, today's video is a must-watch. We're diving into the fascinating world of Washington quarters, the rarest and most valuable ones that are worth big money. Alright, let's kick things off with one of the most mind-blowing Washington quarters in existence, the 1974 D Washington quarter dollar. Now, at first glance, a 1974 quarter might seem like just another piece of change, but trust me, this one is anything but ordinary. In 1974, the U.S. Mint struck millions of Washington quarters in both Denver and Philadelphia. But here's where things get interesting. A very small number of 1974 D quarters turned out to be worth far more than their face value. In fact, some of these rare quarters have sold for a staggering $2,500, yes, you heard that right, $2,500 for a single quarter. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this particular quarter so special? Well, it all comes down to a combination of rarity, condition, and an unexpected minting error. You see, while most 1974 D Washington quarters are worth, well, just 25 cents, a select few were struck with unusual features, such as double die errors or weak strikes, which make them incredibly valuable. The most common error you'll find on these rare coins is the double die error. What does that mean? Essentially, it means that the die used to strike the coin wasn't aligned correctly during the minting process. As a result, the design appears doubled, often around the lettering or even parts of Washington's face. This flaw not only gives the coin a distinctive look but also makes it highly prized by collectors. Now, it's important to note that not every 1974 D quarter has these errors. In fact, the vast majority of them are pretty standard, and are worth no more than their face value. That's why those few with the double die or other minting imperfections are so highly sought after. The fact that they're such a rare find, combined with their pristine condition, is what makes them so valuable. Collectors go wild for these coins because they don't come around very often. If you happen to spot one of these error coins in your collection or even in your spare change, it could be worth far more than you think. In fact, it might be worth taking it to a professional for grading. You could be sitting on a hidden treasure. To wrap it up, the 1974 D Washington quarter isn't just another coin from the 70s. It's a piece of history, a rare find that could be worth thousands if it has that elusive minting error. And even though most of these quarters won't fetch anything close to $2,500, you never know when one with a double die or other imperfections will pop up in your collection. Next up, let's talk about the 1984 P Washington quarter dollar. Now, at first glance, this coin might not seem all that remarkable, but believe me, it has definitely been making waves in the collector's market. It's rare, valuable, and there's a pretty interesting backstory to it. In 1984, the U.S. Mint struck millions of quarters in Philadelphia. But here's the twist, only a very small number of them were released in pristine, uncirculated condition. And as we all know, a coin's value is largely determined by its rarity and its condition. The 1984 P quarter stands out because of its low mintage and specific condition, making it one of the most sought-after Washington quarters in existence. These coins can be valued at around $1,000 in uncirculated condition, and here's why: something went a little off during minting. There's a unique flaw that caused the 1984 P quarters to be different from the rest. Some of them exhibit poor striking or misalignment, which immediately sets them apart from your everyday quarters from that year. The most notable error on these quarters is something called die deterioration. Essentially, the die used to strike the coins wore out more quickly than usual, causing the design to lack the sharp definition you'd expect. This results in a softer look to the coin, especially around the details like George Washington's face and the lettering. It's almost like the coin was stamped with a worn-out punch. This flaw can make the 1984 P stand out, and collectors prize these quarters because of the rarity of finding them in such condition. So, if you happen to have a 1984 P quarter that's in top condition, you could be sitting on a coin worth around $1,000. It just goes to show how small minting flaws and unique details can dramatically increase a coin's value. It's a perfect example of how the tiniest imperfections can turn a standard coin into a treasure. Now, it's worth noting that the 1984 P quarters that didn't have these minting errors are still pretty common, and they don't hold much value beyond their face value. But if you find one with the die deterioration or misalignment, make sure to keep an eye on it, because it could be worth a lot more than you think. Collectors who are actively searching for these rare quarters look for those signs of die deterioration. And it's that attention to detail that makes the 1984 P such a prized coin for enthusiasts. If you're lucky enough to stumble across one in your collection, get it checked by a professional. You might just have a gem in your hands. So, next time you're flipping through your coins, keep an eye out for the 1984 P Washington quarter. Those with the die deterioration can be worth up to $1,000 or more in uncirculated condition, proving once again how small details can make a big difference in the world of coin collecting. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about the 1994 D Washington quarter. Now, you might be thinking, 1994? That's not too long ago. Why is it worth so much? Well, trust me, there's a fascinating story behind this coin's surprising value. The 1994 D Washington quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's regular production. At first, it seemed like just another standard quarter that came out of the Mint. But here's where it gets interesting. A very small number of these 1994 D quarters were struck with an incredibly rare and specific error, the clipped planchet error. This error occurs when the metal blank, or planchet, that is used to create the coin is improperly cut. Instead of the usual round disc, the planchet is misshapen, resulting in a quarter with a missing or clipped section along its edge. Essentially, part of the coin's rim is clipped off before it's even struck. This creates a distorted edge, making it look very different from a regular quarter. And while this error was relatively uncommon, the quarters that exhibit it have certainly grabbed the attention of collectors. Now, you may be wondering, how does this make the 1994 D so valuable? Well, the rarity of the clipped planchet error is what makes these coins so sought after. When you consider the fact that millions of quarters were struck in 1994, only a handful of them had this distinctive flaw, making them far more valuable than regular quarters. Some of these rare pieces have been sold for around $1,500. That's a huge difference from the 25-cent face value. The clipped planchets don't just stand out because of their odd shape, they also stand out because of the story behind them. These errors are a result of a mistake in the minting process, which can happen when the metal planchet is improperly fed into the machine. When this happens, the quarter gets its characteristic clipped edge, creating a coin that is truly unique. So, if you ever come across a 1994 D quarter with a clipped planchet, make sure to get it inspected by a professional. Even though these errors are rare, they can make all the difference in the value of the coin. In fact, just a small error like this can transform a seemingly ordinary coin into a valuable collector's item. And remember, in the world of coin collecting, rarity is king. So, whether it's the 1974 D double die, the 1984 P die deterioration, or this 1994 D clipped planchet, these errors are what make certain coins stand out from the rest. You never know what you might find when you go through your spare change. So, there you have it. The 1974 D, 1984 P, and 1994 D Washington quarter dollars are among the most expensive and ultra-rare quarters you'll ever find. Whether it's a double die error, poor minting conditions, or a clipped planchet, these small details can make a huge impact on a coin's value. So, next time you're sorting through your pocket change, keep an eye out for these hidden gems. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more coin collecting tips and stories. And remember, it's not just about the value, it's about the history behind every coin. See you in the next video.